It's day 4 at the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. The sun is beginning to shine after an incredibly wet morning, and I am here on the WPP beach with Mark Read, CEO of WPP. Mark, how's your week been so far?
Good morning, yeah.
Good
day
morning.
4. Good
Day
week
4.
so far.
Is it a good week? Are you having a good time?
I think we've won 5 Grand Prix, 111 lines so far. So our teams have been doing good work over the last year.
Fantastic. So I counted the 5 Grand Prix. I didn't count all the rest of them. I'm glad you had the number.
We take careful note, every day.
Fantastic. I'm sure. Now, one of the things that everyone's talking about here is AI this week, obviously.
Yeah.
I know at your Capital Markets Day earlier this year, you talked about, over the course of the next 3 years, £250 million investment in AI.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is if you look at filling gaps in agency groups. In the past, it's been straightforward. If you didn't have SEO capability, you bought an agency. If you didn't have animation, you bought an agency. AI is a little bit different. There aren't the agencies to go out and buy. So that's an investment straight all the way through from kind of, it's a hard investment. Is 250 million enough?
Well, I think what's amazing about AI is the power of these models that companies like Google and OpenAI and Amazon and Microsoft and even Meta are building. And we can leverage those at much lower cost. We're not investing in the fundamental technology, but what we are doing is taking advantage of what they've built and sort of almost connecting it with our pipes to produce work. So I think that we're really redirecting investment into this area. I think, as you say, it's going to be fundamental. I think it's a little bit early to see the sort of the full effect. We used AI a lot in our media business and our production business for many years, but I think that really the application of AI to the creative process and the explosion in creative work is going to be very impressive.
Okay. I mean, you talked earlier, I think a couple of days ago, you announced the launch of Production Studio.
Yes.
But you weren't the only one. Omnicom announced the launch of Omnicom Production. Havas announced the launch of Operating System. Dense, all of them, all of the big six. Are the big six focusing too much on tools and not enough on creativity?
No, I don't think so. I think it's about both things, isn't it? It's got to be about both things. Our work with NVIDIA goes back, I think, to 2020, to the pandemic. This is not we just started working with them. We've been working with them for 4 years. We first started working with them because we couldn't shoot things physically in the pandemic. We saw the opportunity to use technology to really create work in that way or produce work in that way, in a virtual way. So, and at the same time, as we talked about, we're really focused on winning awards. The work that Ogilvy Influence, their PR and Influence division did for L'Oreal, for CeraVe. I think it's the first time I can remember a piece of work from the Super Bowl winning a Grand Prix at Cannes. So, it's great to do important work for big clients in big moments. And I think that's what actually does matter.
Okay. One of the disappointments, I think, this year was missing out on an award for your work from Landor. I thought a great piece of work. And I know that in your first annual report post-COVID, you cited the brand agencies as really helping WPP through the hard times of COVID, as did some of the other big six agency groups. I think fast forward 3 years, and we've got pundits like Professor Scott Galloway saying that the era of brand is dead, and so on. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are from that perspective.
Well, there's a lot in that. I think the first thing to say is, Cannes has always been a challenging award festival for the design companies or the branding identity companies. It's an ideas festival. I think they have ideas, but often the awards in those categories get won by advertising agencies. And so I think it's always been challenging, and I know we talk to the organisers, we work with them on the categories and the definitions, because I do think that those companies should get more recognition for the quality of their work and the craft they put into work. As for brands being dead, I don't think so. I think in an era of sort of sameness where you can imitate and copy, I think brands are even more important. You can't go through the last year of, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Barbie, without thinking like brands are what help ideas cut through. So, Tesla is a brand. I don't think Elon invests in advertising per se, but you wouldn't say it was a brand, and maybe one day he will invest in advertising.
Okay. The area he doesn't particularly invest in is PR and comms and corporate communications. And I think let's talk about
Yes.
Elon here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have been the most talked about. You and Elon, between you, have been the most talked about thing at Cannes this week. I think you've had more social media references than any other single topic at Cannes Lions. It was an hour and a half queue to get into the and they opened up the next theatre as well. I think it was a really interesting and bold move. How did it come about?
I sent him a text, to be honest.
It came from you? It came from you?
No, I sent him a text saying, look, I think you should come and make your case. I mean, this is a platform with 500 million monthly users. It's something that many people here are on. And, you know, a lot of the, as he made the point, a lot of the world's most influential people are on. Now, he said some things I don't agree with, quite a few things I don't agree with. And, you know, his point about advertisers, I think, you know, was a way he could clarify it. I'm not sure he kind of exactly meant what he said anyway. So that's why I started why I did, asking him what he meant with that comment back at that Deal Book conference in November. And I think that this notion of freedom of speech is important to us, right? I mean, it's a sort of fundamental bedrock of our society. And I think the point he made is that advertisers can decide whether they advertise or not and what content they advertise around. But actually, for X, just as it would be for the Times of London or the New York Times, you know, they don't succumb to advertising pressure about what they put in the paper. I mean, I know I've seen clients call up the editors of these papers complaining about their coverage. All it does, it gets it moved further forward in the paper, so more people read it. It's totally counterproductive.
I thought it was good. I thought you challenged the area that people wanted talking about right from the start, and I thought that was the right way to do it. And I thought he responded relatively well, you know, following his comments about advertisers. I think the area that perhaps was a little bit more challenging, and something that Paul Holmes covered, I think, quite well in Provoke Media. He wrote quite an eviscerating opinion piece, really with one area being the effect on WPP's employer brand. And I think that, you know, you have invested, I think according to your sustainability report, £30 million in diversity and inclusion initiatives over the past 3 years. Do you think inviting Musk, who has said some really negative things about DEI, do you think that's the right kind of statement from WPP?
I think that we tend to be judged by our actions, not our words. And I think, you know, we're remain committed to diversity and diversifying the company and making a place where everyone feels welcome. Why would we not? So I don't think that interviewing him on stage contradicts that. You know, Paul's entitled, you know, in an age of free speech, Paul's entitled to his opinion. So, you know, I think that we are absolutely committed. And, you know, I would talk to anyone in a company that wanted to talk to me about it, so.
Okay, I think, you know, it's a wider issue, really, isn't it? I think there's such a big problem for all agency groups on the talent attraction side. The world's getting smaller. Talent is moving around so much more. Is it one of the biggest challenges for WPP, or is AI going to be the solution that's going to cure all?
I don't think AI is going to be the solution to the talent challenge. I'd say that, interestingly, our people turnover has gone down the last year to 18 months, which I think is interesting. People are tending to stay for longer, actually. But I think getting the best people, you know, we have, you see it here at Cannes, you know, we have the top 3 ranked creative directors in the world. You know, Liz, Debbie and Pancho. And to the diversity point, two of the 3, I'm pleased to say, are women. And Gab Gray is in the top 10 as well. So I think this is a business about talent, and we want the best people to work at WPP.
Okay. One of the things that probably I think is a real statement about your first five years at WPP has been your enthusiasm for reducing the number of P&Ls. And you know, your predecessor, I think, I remember reading just a ridiculous number of P&Ls. You've done had a really big impact on that. That doesn't seem to be slowing down. We've seen, I think, in the past, or just within the past year, obviously Design, Bridge and Partners, and all of the various kind of brand agencies there. We've obviously seen BCW and Hill and Knowlton kind of coming together to form Burson. Sort of two questions here, really. One is this juggernaut still going to be a consolidating brands? And two, is it going as well as you'd expected?
Well, I think the plans are going very well. Look, someone from one of our branding agencies, much smarter than me, said we should have as many brands as you need, but as few as possible, right? And that seems to me kind of quite a sensible way of thinking about it. And we had, as you point out, too many. When two people work for companies called different things, they tend to have, let's say, different objectives. Now, I believe in brands. I think Ogilvy is an amazing brand. VML is an amazing brand. Landor is an amazing brand. Actually, Burson, in a way, we resurrected a brand with a long history and pedigree. So I'm all in favour of brands with long histories and pedigrees. I think we need to sort of accept where we are in that cycle. So, look, I think the brand landscape will change inside WPP. It's going to continue to evolve. But I wouldn't say that there's no current plans to massively move things. But you see how VML are doing here. They're doing really well. I think Burson's created a little bit of excitement here, and they're definitely recruiting great talent into their business. So I think that's important as well.
Okay, fantastic. It's been 5 Grand Prix, as you mentioned at the beginning, 161 or however many trophies. How do you celebrate? That's my last question for you. Is there a special WPP celebration ritual?
No, we have not really. We'll celebrate on Friday night when we're done with the week. We're taking some clients out for dinner who are winning a big award or Creative Marketer of the Year. So that's where we'll celebrate on Friday with our clients.
Okay, fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well, congratulations. Been great talking with you.
Thank you. Nice
Thanks a lot. Have a good luck with the awards tonight.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.